I think the number one thing in relationships is you're just simply not allowed to leave. You can have breaks, you can get angry, but you're not allowed to leave. And if you can't find a partner that's at least willing to stay, you don't have anything. It can be thrown away at any moment. And just reflecting on the last 2 years, yeah, there was a lot of bad things that I did and dumb stuff, but like, that's kind of okay and that's kind of normal because we're human and we're meant to make mistakes and learn from our mistakes. And that's all fine if you have someone who just doesn't leave. And for some reason, that feels really, really difficult and hard in our society. It's almost like we have built, like the culture is just accepting completely of avoidance and just moving to the next person. And I can relate to leaving jobs, to moving to the next best thing. But progress comes from being able to stay in discomfort for long enough to reap said rewards. Me buying and selling cars is something I get very analytical about if I'm not in a good place and judgmental. If I were to continue this, there's nothing but upside. There's nothing but growth and learning and becoming better at it and saving money. And then eventually, when the timing is right, there will be a transition period where I move into maybe a different business, or I move into maybe even just getting a job, because maybe, let's say, like, I have a relationship that requires being a parent, and that's all fine. But if I just leave and I just quit and I just do that before I'm really ready, what am I achieving? What am I gaining? I make way more money right now doing things the way that I do it. I make far more money than a job. I have incredible freedom. My stress levels are virtually zero. And yeah, I mean, it's not to say that I wouldn't do things for relationships or for this or for that. But anyways, the point of this story here, if you're in a relationship and things are rocky, don't leave. And there's something for, losing yourself in a relationship and it being toxic and everything. My relationship was toxic. My relationship had a lot of violence, not physical violence, but violence and verbal abuse. And we can put up with some of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, if both parties, typically that probably wouldn't show up in most healthy relationships, but people have their moments. And if you leave at the first sign of disappointment or of frustration or of anger, you're not showing very much resilience, and you're not thinking about you're not thinking about the long term and the picture in the future. What is that? Anyways, if you're in a relationship and there's hard times, I actually had a friend that I talked about this with. Me and Haley went on the break, and I was like, oh, maybe you should take a break, because like after the break things were really good for me. And I don't know if they ended up taking a break, but like a couple months later they were engaged. There were struggles, and there are still struggles, and things were rocky, but that's what he wanted too. And it's like such a beautiful thing that he didn't run away and chase his impulses at the first sight of discomfort, because now he has a beautiful family to look forward to, growing in, being a part of, having that deep sense of purpose, having children together. Life is short, and it's meant to be lived with people, and it doesn't need to be perfect people. It just needs to be something maintainable. Strong connection. You don't need to be compatible. You don't need to be similar. You can have that, can make things easier, but it's just about being able to not give up and grow and become each other's people. So anyways, I had a long morning today with a lot of reflecting, driving and stuff, and it's just, I have a lot of grieving usually that comes in the morning and then the evenings, and I'm just okay with that feeling being there. I welcome it. It's a strong feeling, and at times it can borderline, on spiraling and being completely overwhelming. But then I let it be, and I move through it, and inevitably at some point in the day, for me it took about three hours, I get to this place of like the end of the emotional train where there's goodness, where there's some kind of lesson, where there's, I guess right now I'm kind of just venting a bit because it's been a hard morning, and I'm grieving because, in this relationship, I gave up at times, but I would always find my way back home. In this situation, I don't think that the other person will get to that place, at least within a time frame where I'm still available. And that's hard, them not clocking that, them not being able to feel that and see that right now. I can totally have empathy for it, understand, but it's really, really, really hard, There's all kinds of stuff that comes with that. But anyways, maybe somebody finds this valuable. If you're in a relationship, don't be so quick to give up. Don't be so quick to be emotionally reactive. You can do that, but just don't leave. And if you do leave, make it temporary. Make it, okay, we're going to do a break for 6 months. 6 months. We're going to do a break for, a couple of weeks or maybe more, whatever. And then check in. And then maybe we need more time, and then check in. But don't give up. Don't give up. Yep. Have a great day. Look at the sun. That's cool.